Hi everyone, feels like it's been a wee while. It is coming into the colder weather, and I suppose I've definitely been stopped quite regularly at the moment with quite a lot of rain. So I'm going to try and get out there now. This is about the 5th time I've tried to come out this morning. I'm actually staying away somewhere at the moment with my kids, working remotely. So we've got a nice little different walk. It's a little bit of woodland, then we're hopefully going to come out to the coast. I forgot my kind of tripod thing that I usually use to record, so this might be a wee bit wobbly, so please stay with me. And I do have my dog with me. No children, but I do have a dog. So there might be some interesting moments. So today I wanted to talk about a random topic. It's not random, I think it's a really vital topic. It's kind of about peer pressure. Now, the whole reason I'm making this video, the whole reason I'm in this job with Thriving Families, is that we're trying to advocate the importance of peer support and digital support as being accessible, and how through digital support you can kind of get on with connect with peers more easily. That may not be necessarily people who live next door to you, but in the same area, or in the same kind of, can understand what you're going through. But I think in our actual real life daily lives, peer pressure is a massive thing. And I suppose when we say peer pressure, we tend to think about teenagers and kind of the lifestyle that they're living and the choices that they're making. But actually as an adult, peer pressure is massive as well. We just don't maybe necessarily call it that. So for me, there's one thing, I think, there's probably two things which are the kind of the big aspects where I see peer pressure in my life as a mum of a kid with additional support needs. So the two areas I suppose that impact me the most are social media and at the school gates. Now I think the difference when you're an adult and you kind of notice and feel peer pressure is it is related to our mental health really, and it's kind of our aspect of what we may think people are thinking about us, what we may think peers are kind of saying about us or seeing or judging, and not necessarily the truth. So the kind of aspect of social media, I think we all know it, that, you know, social media has an amazing amount of power now, and we can all gain so much from it, we learn so much from it, we can connect with people, but there is a downside to it. I suppose with young people and children, it's something we're very open about, we're very consciously worried about, but maybe sometimes as adults and as individuals ourselves, we maybe don't apply that to ourselves as well as others. So, you know, we've got quite a lot of us that might take a break from social media or only use it for certain things. But I think we are influenced by it massively. You know, it's a massive marketing idea. It makes lots and lots of money. You know, so there's all sorts of different things there that can happen. But we are also very susceptible to, I suppose, just kind of being drawn into it and believing and seeing these things as we see. So it's a really hard way. And so for me, they're kind of fearful. There's just someone pulling up. I think they're going to go fishing in this pond. Be interesting to watch. Don't want my dog to run off to them. So for me, social media, I suppose I always say to people, don't compare yourself with other people. Don't compare yourself as a mum. Don't compare yourself as an adult. Don't compare anything yourself with other people. And we go into social media and we all do it. We compare ourselves. Wow, look at their life. Wow, look what they're doing. Look how fantastic their life is. And, you know, and we're all quite aware of it with things like body image. We all know that filters exist. We all know that, you know, we're all going to put on our best smile. Look at the light. I'm doing it, yeah. But we know it, but we still let it affect us. And I think that's a massive worry. I'm going to just have to stop and come back because there's some people. Hello again. So, someone was just coming to do some grass cutting, I think. Okay, so I was talking about social media and how I think we recognise that everything on social media isn't necessarily real, especially through advertising and marketing, but we still tend to let it impact us. So, prime example would be, think about school holidays, yeah? I'm on October holidays right now here. And, you know, we do a photo dump and we put all these photographs of all the lovely things that we've done, and it just looks great, doesn't it? And you're sitting at home and as a parent of a child with an additional support need, maybe you're having a rough day or a difficult moment and you start looking and thinking, how come we don't do that? You know, look at this family here. You know, they're all sitting having a nice meal in a restaurant. They've gone to a theme park. Everyone's like taking nice pictures, and we're at home and there's, you know, meltdowns, and there's some screaming going on, and there's been tears, or nobody wants to go out. Maybe there's a lack of communication, whatever it is, that at that time you're just not feeling so great about it, and you look on social media and you're like, oh, look at their life. And I just want to say it's so human, and we all do it. and I do it in both ways. I will photo dump my photos of my holidays, and I will not post the pictures, because generally I don't take pictures when we're not doing the best things. You know, for me, it's all about, you know, highlighting the fabulous, wonderful things we do, like coming for walks to amazing places like this and little breaks. So of course I'm going to put pictures up of that. Oh, you can hear the grass cutting, the strumming going on. But I'm not going to post the pictures of when we're all, you know, finding it so hard to get out of the lodge because it's just overwhelming and there's too much going on and there's been a sensory overload, and, you know, I'm not going to post pictures, and I'm not going to write about it, because actually when I look back with my kids, they don't want to remember that either most of the time. Most of the time they're really happy that, you know, we've had amazing times at the beach, and we have been swimming in the water, and we built sandcastles, and we ate biscuits and dunked them in cups of tea in the lodge when it was raining. These are the things that we want to remember. So they're the things I take photographs of and put on my social media so my friends and family can see them, because that's how I connect with a lot of my family, because we live a distance away from them. So it just becomes a little bit easier to kind of do something like that. It's getting dark, isn't it? I'm not doing it to show off to anybody or to have any impact. Look how great my life is. For me, it's a way of celebrating those little moments. And all my family and friends know that, ooh, it's really dark. It's quite scary. Ooh. All my family and friends know that our lives aren't like that, you know, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. They will totally know, as they know us, that there will have been plenty of madness amongst those moments. But actually, it's nice to celebrate those little things too, and so I put them on there. So how come, if I know that, why would I then compare myself to somebody else? Because we're human, yeah, and it's okay. How many times can I say it's okay to feel rubbish sometimes? It's okay not to feel so great. It's okay to feel judged, because generally it's not real. It's our issue. It's triggering something in our head, and we need to accept it and move on. It's okay that we feel like that. I'm just going to pause you, because actually if I keep walking here, we're going to go into total darkness, aren't we? Let's have a look. Yeah, you see, this looks like some sort of Halloween background that I'm going into, but it's not. Ooh, it's getting a bit lighter. We will come out of this in a minute. Yeah, so keep sharing your special moments and keep taking pictures of them, and just be proud of them, and it's okay. I am going to pause you. It's getting way too dark. And I do look like this is a filter. And it's not, I promise, it's real. I'll be back in a second. Ooh, now that is a lot brighter. I'm not really sure what happened. I think possibly I touched something on the screen. Okay, yeah, so post your pictures, enjoy looking at other people's pictures, but just don't compare. Okay, it's just a human tactic that we just kind of need to stop doing to ourselves. It's like torturing ourselves, isn't it? It's like those what ifs. You know, it's great to dream. So keep dreaming about what if you won the lottery, or what if you, I don't know, got a massive promotion, or what if you suddenly could build an extension to your house, whatever. Keep up those what ifs, but keep your what ifs without comparing them. Yeah, because social media is about the positives and the nice moments, and if you can accept it and believe it like that, then you can ignore anything you don't want to see. Yeah, because we should be able to celebrate other people's happy little moments too. Yeah, and we know that there's going to be marketing and advertising and all these things that aren't good or healthy for us to watch, or, you know, trying to compare us or whatever we might feel it's doing. We've got to learn to ignore them. We'll take the good with the bad, yeah? So use social media for what you want to use it, and come back off it if you don't. Now, there's so many different platforms, and, you know, people can choose which ones they want to engage with and not engage with others. And taking social media breaks can be really healthy for you if you want, or, you know, creating those habits so it works for you and it's not making your life more difficult or affecting your mental health even more as it is. Yeah, because it's really disillusioning sometimes, and you need to focus on yourself. Yeah, so I mean, I definitely use social media, but I don't look at everything. You know, it has its purpose for me, and I know that, like, on certain streams that I might follow, things that make me feel happy. So I really like artsy stuff, so I will follow sites of pretty things. So I just got cut off a little bit. So yeah, that's my kind of advice for social media, is if you're going to use it, you really need to accept what it is and what it's there for, and be able to just, you know, protect yourself when you're using it, to be able to make sure that you're not comparing yourself, because we're all so unique and families are so unique. And you know, that you do sometimes get posts, you know, a lot of celebrities do it, where they'll post a picture to show you the reality versus, you know, versus the filter, or they might do a really post about their mental well-being, you know, without makeup, whatever, or a post where people are looking sad, and people do post that, and that's great if that's how they want to share, to help people kind of see a different perspective and have a different understanding. But we shouldn't necessarily need people to do that for us to be able to recognize that everything we see and hear and read isn't necessarily real. This is really real now, because I'm going to have to pause this so I can pick up my dog's number 2. So that's my glamorous jobs done. It's exotic life of somebody filming YouTube videos. Anyway, so I said I would talk about the other kind of area in my life which I think as a parent kind of impacts you, and it's called the school gates. So I think most people who've had children who have to the school drop off find it really difficult. For quite a lot of people, and I think for a lot of families, not just necessarily those who may identify as being a parent carer or having a child with additional support needs, getting ready for school in the morning, if you go to school, can be really stressful. You know, we have to think about, I'm talking about this, there are so many children and young people and families that don't go to school because of the amount of pressure and the anxiety and the trauma that has maybe happened through trying to engage sometimes with some educational establishments. So, you know, I'm talking from the perspective that both my kids at the moment are in school and have a very supportive network around them there, and that's fantastic. But it doesn't mean necessarily that getting out the door is an easy thing to do. And so quite often I find that when you get to the school gate, you're already a little bit vulnerable, you're already quite heightened, and we go into this mindset of comparing ourselves. And we do that awful thing that humans do to each other, is we become a little bit paranoid. And I think a lot of people will compare themselves with other people. We feel that there's maybe a lot of judgment at the school gates. So trying to support your child to come into school, whatever way you're trying to do it, you know, if that's because you've got a particular routine of things you're doing, things you're saying, extra things you're using to try and support your child at that time. And we do tend to feel that we're being looked at, or we're being judged, or we're being, for that activity. And I do think, and if you've ever had cognitive behavioural therapy, which I did a few years ago, I think one of the things it really helped me to do was to actually go back and think, what in my brain am I focused on right now? I'm focused on my child and how I'm trying to support them to get to school. And no doubt every other parent or carer who is there is also trying to focus on that. And so what I'm wearing, or how I look, or how I'm behaving is probably totally irrelevant to them right now. But me, as a parent, I'm thinking, oh my goodness, look at the state of me. I feel horrific. I feel wound up. Exhausted because I haven't had a good night's sleep. I think I look horrendous. And all these people are looking at me. And they must think I'm a horrific parent. They must think I'm a crazy lady. And we are our own worst enemies. All, there's the little person inside our head saying all those negative things, just starts to believe that that's what other people are thinking about. And I think I always say, as you get more grown up, that, and I still feel like I haven't grown up, but as we get, you got a wee lunar glimpse, as we get more grown up, that we do tend to grow thicker skin, and we tend to think, actually, I'm not bothered about what they think. But the biggest thing that I think I've learned with hindsight is most of the time people aren't thinking anything about us. Yeah, most humans are kind and caring, and just like us, they're focused on what they're doing. yeah, and just because we might think they look better than us doesn't mean it. You know, that's us doing this whole comparison thing again. You know, as humans, we are just so cruel to ourselves. And I think for any parent or carer who's taking their kids to the school gate, it's an anxious moment. It's a start and it's an ending, and we know that children with additional support needs can really struggle with transitions. And actually, as adults, we just got really slippy. I nearly just slipped. I'm just coming down to a little bit of a pier. We know that transitions are difficult, and I think we just need to be a lot kinder to ourselves and to other people, yeah, in our thinking of other people, because us thinking that people think that about us isn't very nice at all, really. So, you know, we've got to be kinder to ourselves as well as other people. This is a lovely wee point. See? These are the photos I would post on social media. Can you hear the waves? Absolutely love it. I love this too when you get your shadow behind you. Beautiful, isn't it? You can see me holding the phone. Yeah, so I think what I need to say is life is about us as individuals and what we believe in ourselves, and if we can focus on believing in ourselves, that puts us in such a better place. So, you know, there may be situations in life that really trigger you, and it may not be social media, and it may not be standing at the school gates in the morning or doing pickle, you know. The school gates story, I suppose that the favourite one always has to be though, when the teachers would come out and say, "Can I just have a word?" And you'd be like, "No!" You know, and you go through that moment where you're like, everyone's looking at me, everyone thinks, you know, and I'm just like, sometimes I find the easiest thing to do is try and talk. Yeah, so you're like, oh, and I'm one of those people who always makes a joke about things, you know. I'm like, oh, here I go again. I make embarrassing jokes in interviews. I give jazz hands, like it's just the way I cope with stressful situations. And you know, I think if we're open and we chat to people about, oh yeah, I had to go in and had a wee chat, oh, it's actually just about this, you know, we reassure ourselves, and we shouldn't have to feel like we need to do that, but sometimes we do. So don't be afraid of people. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say, is no matter how you're feeling in the morning, it's okay just to say, oh, crazy morning, just need to go home and have a cup of tea. Okay, or, you know, or how you doing? Have a wee chat tomorrow, you know? You know, I think we just are really quite cruel to ourselves. So whether it's online or whether it's face to face, please be kind to yourself. Okay, and that includes looking after yourself. Okay, so for me, the last few days, although I'm working, I've been out here coming for a walk. Isn't it lovely? I've been out swimming in there the last few days, every day, and on the paddleboard when it wasn't too windy, you know. So maybe I'll try and take you out on the paddleboard. I mean, considering I forgot my stand, that might end in disaster. But anyway, so look after yourself and be kind to ourselves and other people. Take care.